Good morning. Welcome to All Faiths Unitarian Congregation. Today, we're celebrating Mother's Day. So, happy Mother's Day to all those who have mothered and all those who may need mothering. My name's Diane Cartwright, and I will be leading your service today. And here at All Faiths, you will find a diverse and inclusive spiritual community where we welcome people with many beliefs. You can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, and your expansive heart. At All Faiths, we have more than one way of experiencing the world and understanding the sacred. No matter who you are, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, and whomever you choose to love, you are welcome here. Is anyone visiting for the first or second time? Oh, we're all regulars then, or once in a while. That's wonderful. But if you would like to know more about All Faiths, and you've been coming and you'd like to know, then you can see Fran Way, who's back there raising her hand, and she will be right there by the folding doors. There's what we call our welcoming place, and she can tell you more about All Faiths and answer your questions. You can also, during our social hour after the service, talk to anybody, and they can direct you and help you out too, and to learn more about us. The other place that you might find information would be to go to our website, allfaithsuu.org, so don't hesitate to do that. The announcements, which are on the back of your order of service, we have a couple of additions to make. First, I will do an amendment or a modification to our order of service. For today's reading, instead of being from Chrissy, it's going to be from an unknown source. The first announcement to be added is June 3rd, 10 a.m. on a Saturday, we will have our newcomers orientation, where you can learn more about All Faiths, more about the UUA, and anyone interested can come, whether you are already a member or just wanting to know more or of planning to be a member. Also today, the Rainbow Connection will be meeting here at 12 o'clock. Please rise and body your spirit as we sing together our opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
For today's chalice lighting, I have invited Bob Way to be our chalice lighter, and I'm going to be lighting the chalice in his name. And Bob Way is back there. He's got his hand up in the air by our opening door, and Bob Way and his wife Fran are founding members of All Faiths. So as we light the chalice this morning, please join together in reciting the words in the order of your service.
As we light the chalice, may we recall the presence of our mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and all those who gave us sustaining love through our lives. Mother's Day is not just about the lady who
Help them see the light of day. It is also about all those kind-hearted souls who contributed towards making the person you are today. Now please join in singing Go Now in Peace as children leave for the Child and Youth Program with Albie Johnson. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day. At this time, I invite you to come forward and share any joys, sorrows, or gratitude.
Good morning, I'm Tina Noel. I have several joys. It's all good, but I'll stick to one. I leave tomorrow morning to spend 4 days at Narrow Ridge, Tennessee, which is a wonderful community. You guys need to look it up, all about sustainability and things like that. And I'll be back Friday, and it'll be a wonderful day. And lots of adventures.
Have a wonderful time. Sharon?
Hi, my name is Sharon Gray. Before anybody complains, I have special permission. As you know, what the states are gradually doing to abortion care for women. And there's ballot initiatives in several states. Well, Florida's finally got one. I have the petitions. They need over 1 million signatures. They said like 1.3 million, because out of that batch, 889,000 are the ones that are probably the only ones that would be good. So I will have these later in the back, and you're not voting for it, you're voting to get it on the ballot. So even if you're opposed, you have a right to say. They want the people to say, not the legislators. Thank you.
So we'll light this candle for the democratic process.
Okay, so I've been a little lonely lately, and I would really have liked to have gotten me a dog, but you know, I'm always out on the road, so I can't have a dog, so the alternative was a cat. But I didn't get just one cat, I got 2 kittens. They're both male. One of them is Mozart and the other one is Bach. They're about 3 weeks apart, but they're both kittens, and I have scratches all over my body to prove it. But thank you.
I light this candle for all those who have served as mothers in our lives. Get another one going here. Some of them don't cooperate. And I'm lighting this candle for all of you who have joys and sorrows in your hearts. Reach out to those who are in need, those who are alone, and reach out to mothers who've lost their children, and share all the love and resources with those that you care for.
I'd like to ask everyone now to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let us turn our hearts and our minds to today's service and contemplate our blessings. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing together hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. All the stirrings of compassion blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hands, giving honor to shade of justice, roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Our opening words today come from Donna Ball. Motherhood is a choice you make every day to put someone else's happiness and well-being ahead of your own, to teach the hard lessons, to do the right thing, even when you're not sure what the right thing is, and to forgive yourself over and over again for doing everything wrong.
I think you're the prettiest girl, probably in the whole wide world. Sometimes I watch you brush your hair, you don't even know I'm there, and I hear, baby, you don't want to catch a cold. And you're kneeling down and zipping up my coat. You're always looking out for me, but your kiss upon my cheek, yeah, keeps me warmer than you know. I've never had to find out what it's like to be alone, and as far as I know, Mom is just another word for home. They say I'm the spitting image of the one I look up to, and I just smile, 'cause anyone can see it's true. I'm becoming me because of you. Chocolate ice cream melting down my chin. Ferris wheels goes round and round again. Happy birthday, make a wish, 'cause it always stay like this. Finally kiss those training wheels goodbye, 'cause you've always made me feel like I could fly. When I fall and scrape my knee, the first one running after me is you, saying, give it one more try. I've never had to find out what it's like to be alone, and as far as I know, Mom is just another word for home. That's why I'm the spitting image of the one I look up to, and I just smile, 'cause anyone can see it's true. I'm becoming me because of you. And every morning I can hear you talk to Jesus by your bed, where you pray for me and for the strength to face the day ahead. And the more that anything in this whole world that I want to be, so I try to pray like you.
Today's reading comes from an unknown source. Your mother is always with you. She's the whisper of the leaves as you walk down the street. She's the smell of certain foods you remember, flowers you pick, the fragrance of life itself. She's the cool hand on your brow when you're not feeling well. She's your breath in the air on the cold winter's day. She is the sound of the rain that lulls you to sleep, the colors of a rainbow. She is Christmas morning. Your mother lives inside your laughter. She's the place you came from, your first home, and she's the map you follow with every step you take. She's your first love, your first friend, even your first enemy. But nothing on earth can separate you. Not time, not space, not even death. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing together hymn 409, Sleep My Child. We're going to sing.
Sleep, my child, and peace attend you all through the night. I who love you shall be near you all through the night. Soft and drowsy hours are creeping, hills and vales slumber sleeping. My loving vigil keeping all through the night. Father, I can feel you near me all through the night. Father, I know you can hear me all through the night. And when I am your age nearly, still I will remember clearly how you sang and held me dearly all through the night. While the moon her watch is keeping all through the night, while one half the world is sleeping all through the night, even while the sun comes healing, visions of the day revealing, breathes the pure and holy feeling all through the night. Welcome to Mother's Day. Mike.
Welcome to Mother's Day. Two children ordered their mother to stay in bed one Mother's Day morning. As she lay there looking forward to breakfast in bed, the smell of bacon floating up from the kitchen. But after a long time waiting, salivating for her breakfast, she finally got up and went downstairs to investigate. She found both of her children sitting at the table, eating bacon and eggs. One said, "As a surprise for Mother's Day, we decided to cook our own breakfast." I well remember those Mother's Days when my brother and I decided to cook breakfast. carried it into Mother on a breakfast tray, perhaps spilling the coffee and orange juice, and receiving the well-rehearsed surprise of, "For me? Oh, thank you, boys." And of course, we were completely oblivious to the fact that Mother would later have to clean up the god-awful mess we had made in the kitchen, but our hearts were full of good intentions, never mind the execution. If you're like me, pushing senility, you remember when Mother's Day was a time when Dad gave Mom flowers and candy, and the family of Dad, Mom, and 3.2 children went out to breakfast, or maybe brunch. You certainly would not take 3.2 children to a fancy restaurant to celebrate her day. After breakfast, there might be church, or maybe a big fuss about giving Mom the day off, before settling into the routine of everyday life. Dad would be watching the game, the kids would be playing outside in the burgeoning spring weather, and Mom might find a little time to catch a cat nap before rising to make dinner, wash the family's clothes, iron Dad's shirts for the next work week, and maybe, just maybe, taking time to herself for reading Good Housekeeping or Red Book or Ladies' Home Journal. Ah, the good old days when men were men and women were, well, mothers. And what about the workforce in those days? Women who worked were an anomaly. Working women were considered to be either poor, single, undereducated, weak, non-assertive, or a combination of all of the above. Women who worked, that is, women who worked for a salary, had jobs that traditionally paid less, even though their work often demanded much more from them. Teachers, nurses, typists, receptionists, bookkeepers, you know the drill. And what did every one of these women aspire to become? According to the men who controlled the earth, wives and mothers. Indeed, women who reached this pinnacle of achievement almost always gave up their low-paying day jobs for a 24-hour gig of unpaid housework, culminating in a once-a-year Sunday of celebration with the family at Perkins, Denny's, or IHOP. How times have changed. How many of you have heard of the ubiquitous women who went to college to pursue an MRS degree? I'll bet the idyllic version of graduating with an MRS degree did not include the household drudgery of cooking, cleaning, and changing diapers. But time has a way of changing things. World War II revealed the fact that Rosie the Riveter was a capable, reliable, and hard worker. And that realization of Rosie's capabilities partially gave rise to the emergence of a whole battery of capable, educated, accomplished women who made up the post-war generation. Gloria Steinem founded a publishing empire and a movement. Shirley Chisholm, not only a woman, but a black woman, launched a viable run for the presidency. Golda Meir, Indira Gandhi, Queen Elizabeth II, Betty Friedan, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Margaret Thatcher, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Maya Angelou, Kamala Harris, and a whole lot of others in our lifetime wrote an indelible history of accomplishments, not only of women, but each of them also happened to be mothers. Yes, time has changed, and it certainly has been for the better. Who knew women could be multitaskers? Fast forward to 1972, when my wife, Diane, and I decided to marry. We were both well into our teaching careers. We both taught high school English. Both were recognized by our peers, and most importantly, by our students as being accomplished, caring teachers. We not only taught the most demanding subject, requiring extensive planning and grading, which took up many of our non-school hours. We taught, we coached, we directed plays, we served on committees as members and often chairpersons. We wrote grants, we developed curricula, most of the time outside of the school day and on our own time. And of course, outside of our contractual compensation. Most of our work days were spent arriving at school in the dark and going home from school also in the dark. It's true. We even developed a one-of-a-kind extracurricular advanced credit course studying the plays which were to be formed at Ontario's Stratford Shakespeare Festival. The elective course entailed meeting outside the school day and culminated in our chaperoning a trip to the festival as part of the course. For most of 25 years, we were never compensated for this course, and indeed insisted as a matter of conscience to pay our own way, just as our students had. Getting back to our decision to marry. When we told our parents that we intended to marry, we added that we had talked it over and decided not to have children. My mother's response was predictable. She said, "But who will take care of you when you get old?" I thought this rather odd, mainly because I had never thought of this as the principal role and duty of a child. Indeed, my tongue-in-cheek response to her was, "And are you expecting me to take care of you when you're old?" Our decision to forego having children was reached because we both realized that we already had children, about 250 each every year. And barring some repeats, they were different children from year to year. Some were brilliant, some intellectually challenged, some well-behaved, some constantly in trouble, some excelled. By the way, as an example, we both taught the present CNN daytime anchor, Kate Baldwin. Some failed, we won't name names. Some went on to successful careers. Some ended up homeless and living on the streets. Some were straight, some were gay, some were trans. But all of them needed something that we could give. They needed understanding, nurturing, and if you will, mothering. The Latin term in loco parentis, meaning in place of a parent, was never more aptly applied. Both of our mothers understood our decision to remain childless. We'll probably never know how our fathers felt. Fathers in those days, at least our fathers, were typically reticent about sharing their emotions. But speaking for me, and after 50 years of marriage, I think I know my wife fairly well to speak for her as well. We both never regretted the decision. We realized early on that we had all the rewards and the frustrations of parenthood without the breakfasts in bed, the yearly visits to IHOP, and the myriad responsibilities and heartaches that came with actual parenthood. Two diametrically opposed episodes that I'll never forget from my early years of teaching reinforce my feelings about my chosen profession. The first one occurred early in my career while I was still single. It was during a normal day, and a student was being particularly uncooperative and refused to follow directions, culminating in an exchange with his calling me a mother. you can probably guess what the continuation of the word was. And it was not Mother Superior, Mother Hubbard, Mother Dear, or even Mother May I. Heaven forbid. Needless to say, I reacted predictably, grabbing him by the collar and hauling him down to the principal, barging past his secretary, barging through the closed door to his office. I interrupted a parent conference he was having and blurted out, "This kid just called me up." And I'm sorry to say, I repeated the whole 4-syllable epithet. "You'd better deal with him, because if I do, it won't be pretty." The principal later came to my room between classes, laughing and reassuring me that he had dealt with the situation and didn't think I'd have any more trouble with the student, at least for the rest of the week. I realized later that it was Friday. My principal had quite a sense of humor, thank God. The second incident came some years later. I had given the class a handout on punctuation and was circulating the room providing help and hints to the completion of the problem sentences. A boy in the front of the room was so absorbed in the assignment that he raised his hand, sensing my approach, and while still absorbed in his work, said in a questioning tone, "Mom?" He was instantly embarrassed by what he had said, and some students around him laughed. But at that moment, I was so overcome with emotion that I think I teared up. He called me Mom, and at that moment, I felt pride. Indeed, I felt like what a mother should feel like: helpful, nurturing, caring, and educating. In other words, in loco parentis. Diane, my wife, has had similar experiences. We both still cherish the relationships that we built with past students who communicate with us on Facebook or send us cards and emails. We've had some visits, celebrated memories, and even have attended weddings and celebrated births and mourned deaths of former students and their family members. In fact, you might say they are taking care of us in our old age, just as my mother hoped. And now, 22 years after we retired, the world is still changing. Now mothers don't have to stay home and be homemakers. They don't have to choose between a career and a family. They don't have to attend college seeking an MRS degree. They don't have to restrict themselves in their choice of careers. They don't have to bide their time between raising their children and caring for their aging parents. They also, and most emphatically, don't even have to be women. Anyone who assumes the role of caregiver, nurturer, mentor, healer, anyone who leads, guides, educates, soothes, anyone who is responsible for molding the future of the next generation, anyone, regardless of gender or societal expectations, can be a mother. And so, on this Mother's Day, let us celebrate all of the mothers who have cared for us. We are all somebody's children, and we owe it all to Mom. May it be so. One day, a little girl is sitting and watching her mother do the dishes at the kitchen sink. She suddenly notices that her mother has several strands of white hair sticking out in contrast to the brunette hair that she has. She looks at her mother and inquisitively asks, "Why are some of your hairs white, Mom?" Her mother replies, "Well, every time that you do something wrong and make me cry or unhappy, one of my hairs turns white." The little girl thought about this revelation for a while and then asked, Mama, how come all of Grandma's hairs are white? We'll now do the offertory. Thank you for your contributions to All Faiths.
Thank you for watching over me. All of the sleepless nights you lay awake. Thank you for knowing when to hold me close and when to let me go. Thank you for every stepping stone and for the path that always leads me home. I thank you for the time you took to see the heart inside of me. You gave me the roots to set this life, and then you gave me wings to fly. And I learned to dream because you believed in me. There's no power like it on this earth, no treasure equal to its worth. The gift of a mother's love. Thank you for every sunlit day that filled the corners of my memory. Thank you for every selfless unsung deed I know you did for me. Thank you for giving me the choice to search my soul that I could find my voice. And I thank you for teaching me to be strong enough to bend. You gave me the roots to start this life, and then you gave me wings to fly. And I learned to dream because you believed in me. There's no power like it on this earth, no treasure equal to its worth. The gift of a mother's love. I thank God for a mother's love.
Our closing words come from Jill Churchill. There's no way to be a perfect mother, and a million ways to be a good one.
She makes his coffee, she makes his bed, she does the laundry, she keeps him fed. When she was 21, she wore her mother's lace. She said forever with a smile upon her face. She does the carpool, she PTAs, doctors and dentists, she drives all day. When she was 29, she delivered number 3. And every Christmas card showed the perfect family. Everything runs right on time. Years of practice and design, spit and polish till it shines. He thinks he'll keep her. Every Everything is so benign, safest place you'll ever find. God forbid you'll change your mind, he thinks he'll keep her. She packs his suitcase, she sits and waits with no expression upon her face. When she was 36, she met him at their door. She said, I'm sorry, I don't love you anymore. Everything was right on time, years of practice and design. Spit and polish till it shines, he thinks he'll keep her. Everything is so benign, safest place you'll ever find. God forbid you'll change your mind, he thinks he'll keep her. For 15 years she had a job and not one raise in pay. Now she's in the typing pool at minimum wage. Everything runs right on time, years of practice and design. Spit and polish till it shines, he thinks he'll keep her. Everything is so benign, safest place you'll ever find. God forbid you'll change your mind, he thinks he'll keep her.
My microphone's tripping me up today. First of all, we thank Doug for his inspiring message on Mother's Today. We thank Carlos for the wonderful music. Regina, Kilmartin on camera, Ed Elrod on sound, Joe Gayton, our sexton, Joyce Schaefer for our beautiful flowers, Nicole Racine and Frank Geltner for our hospitality, and finally our greeters, who are always friendly and welcoming. It's good to be connected together whatever way that we can. And so now we'll extinguish the chalice, and again, in name of Bob Way, I invite you all to share the words of extinguishing the chalice as I extinguish it.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth. The
Warmth of community or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out to the world. Please join us for birthday cake, coffee, conversation, talking about mothers in the social hall. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.